I bought my apartments cash.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have. I've tied up almost 4 or 5 million rand.
So if you were in your 20s right now, what other things would you be putting in place to survive in this economy?
I call myself the accidental millionaire because I made my money. Oh, what do you want, baby?
Because you became a millionaire.
3, 2, 1.
Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of Deliberate. My name is Dennis Ngango, also known as Hot Boy Denny. In this video you can see I have a very special guest who is a marketing and sports executive turned television personality, author, as well as of course financial educator. It's the one and only Nicolette Mashile.
And for the purpose of this video, I will be called Hot Girl Nikki.
Hey, look at you. So in this video, we're going to be talking about finances in your 20s, and who better than the financial bunny herself. If you enjoyed this video, please do make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you're happy to see us on your screens, make sure to comment below. And lastly, don't forget to subscribe. Awesome.
That's how we get paid. Subscribe.
For our sake, please
subscribe.
So there's some icebreakers here.
Okay.
And we're going to be getting to know one another.
Okay. Shum 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 baloi bako bush. Shum shum. What do you think I'm most likely to splurge on? Boom boom boom.
I think maybe property. Property.
On the money. Ga, 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 ga.
I was about to say makeup, but then I was like
makeup.
Then I was like property.
Hey, I'm naturally cute.
That's true. I can confirm.
Property, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
What do you think is the hardest part of what I do for a living?
It's listening to all of those love stories from people and being single.
Who said I'm
If you are single.
That's a good.
Are you single?
It's a good question.
That needs an answer.
It's a good question.
Okay. Do I seem like someone who would get a name tattoo on myself? Why or why not?
I do think so, and I think it would have to be like someone rather super sentimental.
Never. Have you ever seen a bumper sticker on a Maserati? Please.
Oh. So not even like someone super special, not even
nobody is that special.
Not a parent,
not even my parent. No, they live their lives. Did they have tattoos on their bodies? No. So why am I putting their names on my body?
Okay, Maserati. Do you think I fall in love easily? Why or why not?
No, he does not. He could not even confirm if he's in a relationship or not. So people like that could never fall in love. Also, he's an Aries. There is no way. These are the devil's children.
You're bringing this back.
Yep.
Do you think you fall in love easily?
I do. I fall in love within the first 24 hours. We're in love, we're getting married. But trust, I will fall out of love with you. I will. You do something stupid. And remember, Virgos don't really fall in love. We treat people like test subjects. So we often are just like, I'm in love with you today, but tomorrow things could change.
So you fall out of love as quick as you fall in love?
And I got told now. Yeah, guys, go. But no, I do think we fall out of love very quickly, but because Virgos are also perfectionists. Relationships are probably 4th on our list, right?
Yeah.
So, which means that we don't want to spend too much time and effort on those kind of things. So the decision needs to be made quickly so that I put you where you need to be so I can carry on with my life and thrive and be great at what I am and what I do. Now, I can't do that if at the same time every day I'm stressing about love and all of those things. Those things don't put food on the table. Let's be serious, eh?
Hey, speaking of putting things on the table, this conversation is all about your favorite topic. Money. What would you say was like the first point in your life where you allowed money to work for you and not against you?
Sure, I think it's probably the first time I bought a property. My then and I boyfriend, we had literally walked out of the apartment that I was staying in, and we saw this big signage that said Pam Golding has a showing upstairs. So we walked upstairs to a loft apartment and we saw this place, and I had money in my bank account at the time, and I thought, you know what, I've had this money sitting in my bank account. I really am never going to spend it on anything because I come from Bushbuck Ridge, and because my my parents moved us from Bushbuckridge to a flat in Nelspruit, and right after the flat in Nelspruit, I moved into boarding school. So I never had a very big scope of what lifestyle looked like. So when I walked in and I bought that apartment, I knew, and I was lucky because the apartment that I bought, that loft that I bought, had already had a tenant in it. So my earning came immediately.
Okay, so there's already money, yeah.
Yes. So my earning came immediately, and it was so cool for me because I was like, hey, I'm so rich. I thought I was rich. I'm so rich, you know?
Now you're rich.
But now, now there was somebody paying me to live in my property.
Yeah.
And that's when I knew money can work for you. It was insane for me. Like, I was just like, hey,
this is really cool.
This is cool. I want to do more of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On top of that, it exposes you to like a new side of money.
Yes.
You know, how did you walk into that? Obviously, you were excited in the beginning, but now it's also like, I can do more. How did you naturally transgress into that? And the reason why I ask is because when you're young and there's new money gets old.
Yeah.
And now you want to progress, but also you're comfortable with what that new money showed you.
Yes. Oh, no, it was in month 2 of her paying her rent. I was irritated then.
You see, this is the Virgo. This is the Virgo.
I was like, hold up. My loft is actually worth more than this in terms of rental, because then when I walked around now to other people and found out how much they were charging within their estates, I was like, I am now charging a low rental. And the thing is, I had no choice because I kind of walked into the situation. So immediately I started realizing, so what did I do? I sat down and I did my numbers. So I was like, okay, this is how much rent she's paying. This is how much I bought the property. So I was starting to do my rental yield immediately. I wanted to see how much of a rate of return am I getting, because I've tied up almost R1 million in this property. But what is my actual rate of return? And when I worked that out, I realized it's a big, I found a scam. It's not where I want to be.
Yeah,
but
I can do better.
In my defense, it was my first buy. And to be quite honest, I didn't know. And as I said, for me, what was the big win was taking R1 million that I could have splurged on anything and tying it into this one property. And it really gave me so many options, because in 2016, I left my job.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that's the thing, is that there are certain decisions that you make in life that cannot be quantified by a yield or a mathematics formula, because what they give back to you is more than just money.
Yes.
You know, it's the freedom of being able to, I mean, I had this conversation with my cousin. My cousin works for a bank. And she went and bought a car, right? And obviously when you work for the bank, they give you preferential rates, right?
Yeah.
Interest rates. And she took that on. And then I think 6 months later, she got into a toxic relationship with her line manager. And she now wanted to leave. But when she left, there's a big jump now that needs to happen in terms of her interest rate. Because if you no longer work for the bank, they adjust your interest rate back to prime and plus. So now all of a sudden, there's this 3% difference between her preferential rate and what she would now get if she walks away from the bank. And she could not make that decision because of the amount of money that her installment was going to jump to. So now she's stuck in the job because of a decision that she made just a couple of months before that. Don't find yourself in a situation where you are income or salary rich right now, because maybe you've just gotten a job. So you have not moved out of home. You know, you haven't done it. So you go and take the car, the biggest car that you can get.
Yeah.
You know, you are signing up yourself for different things. And then you realize, after a month of you working, because now somebody at work is stressing you, you get home, anything your mom says is pissing you off.
Yeah.
Now you're saying, I want to move out. I want to move out. Moving out is not like walking out of your house. Moving out means you either pay rent or you pay a bond, and all of a sudden those things are there by 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,000 rand.
And all your money is already
tied up into things.
Yes. But what I really like about what you said is that with the apartment, the moment that you saw that it could work more in your favor, you went into it fully. You didn't avoid.
Yes.
You didn't avoid. You took money into your own hands, and from taking money into your own hands came a certain level of autonomy, as well as ownership and freedom, which is really, really, really cool. You said something about the 1 million. You had been saving it. Had that always been like your money language, your money personality?
I think I've always been the person who wanted to make more money. In fact, how I got into saving was, as I said, I got into Rhodes University, failed my degree at Rhodes, and then came to Johannesburg. And you must go for the low-hanging fruit now when you failed, right? So I went for sports management. And I ain't saying nothing about sports management. I'm just saying I was great at sports management. If it was an accounting degree, I probably would have failed. You know what I mean? So I went into sports management and I passed. I aced that. But unfortunately for me, it also meant that I had to work really hard to keep up with my peers, right? So all I knew was school and hard work. So there was no leisure time. That's why I say I didn't come to Sandton City. I didn't spend. And I was very lucky that in 2015, in my role at that time, I worked in advertising, and it was a time when the government made a call to say 25% of advertising spend must go to community media. And I was like, good shots. There are no agencies. I'm going to set up my own agency. So actually, people think I make money from financial education. I don't. I make money from media buying. So I went into that space, and I had negotiated now with my employer. Because I said to him, listen, I need to go into the space. You guys run a company, help me start my own. And they really helped me start my own company. And essentially, I was working now as a business person. I was heading up advertising. I say advertising, an advertising agency. I was client services director. I was working at a television station, a community station. So I had so much work and so little hours. There was no time to spend. So my money just accumulated. And saved. So I call myself the accidental millionaire because I made my money. Oh, what do you want there for? Because
you became a millionaire. Regardless, I was like, oh, nice.
I was like, what happened there? so it was like learning the first rule of money without actually intending to. That if you can't spend all you make. And I didn't spend all I made.
You spoke on so many things that I want to touch on. First, it was the whole dropping out thing.
Oh, yeah.
And as young people, when you're navigating life, irrespective of whether you figured out your career choice in the beginning or whether you figured out along the way, there's always that feeling of failure. So I wanted to ask, how did you survive that feeling of failure when things were not looking great around and you wanted to push through?
You know, when you hit the ground, flat on the ground, there's only two directions you can go. It's either you go sideways and you stay on the ground, or you go up.
Yeah.
So I got to a point where I was like, which direction do I want to go in? What do I do? What do I do now? Because the reality is, I can't go lower than low. You can't go lower than low.
I've already dropped out.
But because of my personality, I will also work 2 steps ahead. By the time I dropped out, I had already applied at a college. I already found the college. I knew. So
You planned.
I'm a trickster. No, I'm a trickster. It's not even a plan. I am a trickster. I come to my dad and I say, listen, Joe, so we're not going back to that school here. But I found a school here. I've applied. They've already accepted me. Boom. So you gotta come with something else. That's my thing. I'm always on the go. Like I tell people, my biggest struggle is to be in the moment.
Yeah.
I don't sit and dwell. I plan for the next step. What is the next thing that we're gonna do? Even if it's not going to be an improvement of where I am, it needs to be a move. So my mom's favorite saying is raga raga wanaka, never let the dust settle. Because the moment you let the dust settle is when you start to see clearly where things are.
Yeah.
And for me, I don't need to see things clearly. Things are clear from when I start. When I'm in the move, they must not be clear. We must be moving forward and we must find something going.
You have to position yourself regardless. Even if you are starting off from like a beginning status, even then you have to be ahead.
I'm great at beginnings.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You must
be
good at where you are. And at every point you must work towards the next. There's no way you... Guys, I'm not accepting law. What? No. So I think that was the thing. I was like, when I failed, I was like, what is this? No, this is not where I know myself to be. So let me be great at something.
Yeah.
And I found something to be great at. And that's how I move. Like there's never a time in my life, Dennis, where I sit and I'm like, yes, this thing has showed me flames. I will say it showed me flames, but
I
was, and I'm going to be, you know? So I don't mind starting at the beginning all the time.
But how do you do that without means? And by means, I mean resources. Chankura, chelete, money.
Guys, I'm going to sound so horrible right now. There's no such a thing. There's no such a thing.
There's no resources?
There's no such a thing as no resources. You've got to position yourself. The problem is that we've believed and we've been made to believe that resources only come in money. And when you believe in that, your mind becomes narrow.
Yeah.
You know, I always tell people this. I say, we in South Africa have a consumption mindset. We don't have a production mindset, right?
Yes.
And the thing is, we've always been taught that. We've been taught that spend less, save up more, don't do this, don't do that. When do we move the conversation to do this, do this, do this, so that you can make more, right? And the problem is that mindset is not only stopping at money, it goes everywhere else in our lives. Is that if I'm constantly applying for a job and nothing is happening, I sit in that. I sit in every day, my job is to send out CVs. Okay, it does not work. You've realized it does not work to a certain extent. What can possibly be the next thing? And sometimes it's not even about you having some of the smartest ideas, because not every idea is going to flourish. Sometimes it's have a conversation. Sit in the taxi, open your mouth.
Yeah.
After you've gone for an interview and things didn't work out, open your mouth. You don't know what the next person does.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying it's easy. Let's not take that away. I'm not saying it's easy and we don't all have the same mindset. We don't all have the same personalities, right? However, at the same time, it doesn't mean you don't try.
But I also think in the same breath, sometimes you go through unconventional paths. Like you still had to join corporate to get to where you are now.
Of course.
And I think that people need to understand that those seasons also work in the favor of what you come through out, like who you are at the end.
Yes.
And also
also,
it's important to recognize that.
I was telling somebody the other day, I'm like, I actually think I'm going to go back to corporate for the next 2 years. And they were like, why? I said, because I need networks.
Yeah.
You know, every season in your life, you've got to figure out what it has for you to build this ultimate person that you want to be. I think the problem is that, and that's what I say to you, the problem is we all know what Z is. But because we're at A or we're at N or we're at B, we don't realize that you have to go through these similar steps, these steps that are in between to get to your Z. And sometimes, as you say, tomorrow I could be in medicine. And I might not know why. But it will eventually reveal itself as to how I ended up there. Yeah. So it's important that even the experience itself is a resource.
Yes. So what are financial lessons you learned, or financial opinions rather, strong financial opinions you had in your 20s that you don't have so much now?
Debt. Everybody thinks debt is a bad thing. Debt is not a bad thing. Debt gives you access to things that you otherwise cannot get access to. But the problem is we don't have enough credit education. People talk about good debt and bad debt, and they say the good debt is debt that is going to build up your bottom line. Yes, it's debt that is going to materialize into great things. It doesn't even start there.
Yeah.
Good debt starts off with you building a great credit facility or a great credit profile so that you can negotiate the terms and conditions of what your debt is going to look like. This jacket, you could have gotten a flimsier jacket because your terms and conditions of when you got the jacket were terrible. Yeah. So now when you have to wear it with the polo neck now. So you have to stack on now because the jacket on its own is not good enough. So it's a bad jacket. Do you get what I'm saying? But when you've got good credit from the beginning,
I hear you.
Your debt does not become good or bad because you can afford to debt. Because remember, your debt is built on the actual foundation of your credit facility. So for me, I held very strong opinions. When I was in my 20s, I'm not going to take up any debt. I'm going to buy everything cash. And I did. I bought my apartments cash. Yeah. I shouldn't have. I've tied up almost 4 or 5 million rand in property, in brick and mortar. I promise you, after working out my rental yields, I was like, well, this is a stupid decision. Yeah. Stupid decision, because I could have leveraged it. I could have paid half of those apartments cash. The other 2.5 million rand, I could have put it into a different business, and we could be thriving now. So
if you were in your 20s right now, what other things would you be putting in place to survive in this economy?
I think the first and probably most important is education. You can never go wrong with financial education if you just understand things. But because we don't have information, when we don't have information, we try to fill the voids and the blanks with our own information. So that's what people do, even when they go to the banks and they're trying to buy a car. When the bank says to you balloon payment, because you don't know, you want to fill in the blanks for yourself, you use the balloon payment to fill in the blanks. But you don't actually know what it is and the impact it's going to have. So for me, I think young people, the first and probably most important thing is education. Let's get educated. The second thing, young people, please network. Network. It is going to do amazing. And I always say forced networking is if you go into a job. Because when you go into a job, you are forced to speak to people.
Yeah,
you're forced to, so you build networks. Because networks are ultimately what is going to help you if you need a job. Because tomorrow, somebody can pick up the phone and say, Dennis, I actually have this position. Are you keen or somebody else? Because they know you.
Yeah, I've seen what you do.
Do you understand? So I think networking is such an important thing because it gives you access to rooms.
Of course.
I mean, when my home loan got messed up, my first home loan got messed up, and the bond originator understated my expenses, and I needed to get into Standard Bank to explain to Standard Bank that this has happened. My boyfriend then had access into Standard Bank, into high position people. Now the ordinary person at home was going to be stuck with that situation because they don't have access to the right people. The next thing that I think young people need to do is to respect their money. I don't think we respect our money enough. And when we talk about respecting your money, it's about creating a blueprint of what your financials should look like. It is doing the bare minimum and the basics. You know, Patricia Shire, she's a Christian speaker, prophetess. I don't really know what she is, but she does a lot of videos where she speaks about God, and it's amazing, right? And there's one video where she speaks about doing the mundane things. She says, I think it's Sarah. I don't know the Bible stories, but this person goes to the stream every day to go fetch water to come and feed her family. Goes to the stream to fetch water, and she couldn't give birth. She couldn't have children. Or she didn't have a husband, one of those. And she says the one day she goes to the stream and she meets her husband. She didn't know on that day she was going to meet her husband, but she did the basic things that she did, the mundane things. Too many of us want to be extraordinary. Cryptocurrency is great. Let's all jump into cryptocurrency. It's amazing. Nothing wrong with going into cryptocurrency, but don't go into cryptocurrency if you don't have an emergency savings account. Do the mundane, basic, boring things, because those things are what is going to come and save you. Go and read The Richest Man in Babylon. It's got the money rules simply put to you. If you do those things, you are going to be fine at one level. If you want to be extraordinary, then you do all of the cryptocurrency things. But do the basics.
Get the basics right.
Get the basics right.
Because the thing about the basics, if you don't, they catch up with you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But make sure your skeleton is sturdy.
So, one last parting message to 23-year-old Nicolette. What would you say to her?
I would say I'm proud of you. I would say everything that happened when you were 23 needed to happen. I would say I wish you had known more about making money. I wish every young person would know more about making money, would take the chances at making money. Guys, in this world, drop shipping, white labeling, guys, digital marketing, affiliate marketing, network marketing. We all turn our noses up at network marketing. People are buying the Porsche. People are buying homes. People are making money.
People are
because they dare to. If I could go back to the 23-year-old, I'd say you should have started early.
Thank you so much for doing this episode with us and educating us about the importance of just being able to position yourself for winning, and also just being able to know the worth of understanding money. I really appreciate it. Where can people find you on social media?
Please don't find me. No, don't find me. I don't want to be found.
You don't want to be perceived?
No, I don't want to be found. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear.
Ooh. Speaking of teachers, make sure to check out Nicolette's book right now at all good bookstores as well as online. It's What's Your Move. We'll be giving away 2 of these copies of these books in this video. So make sure to let us know what you took up from the episode, and you'll also get to know Nicolette in a really dope way. If you enjoyed this video, please do make sure to give it a thumbs up. Let us know your thoughts as well in the comments. And lastly, don't forget to
subscribe. That's how we get paid. What the hell is blue pass now?
Don't worry. You'll see it in one of the quotes.
I'm going to say in the video, blue pass. Because y'all don't want to tell me what it is. Hey, video is today.
That's a very serious video.
Yeah.
We're changing lives today. We're changing lives today.
I don't know about changing lives.
We're changing lives today,
Like
Nicolette.
they stole my phone on Saturday. I was so upset. Social media has shown me such a different side of human beings. You know, people think social media is like realistic. Social media is not realistic. First and foremost, there's no way in the world in one day where you're going to get 100 people coming and telling you cute. There's no way.
Yeah.
Right? Social media allows for that to happen. People speak on social media. Have you seen people how much they speak on social media?
Oh, who's speaking now?
There are things that you want to say to people. You should have kept that to yourself. What language do we speak on your channel, Dennis?
English.
Oh shit. Okay, I'ma try be like charming in English.
You are charming in general, so I think you'll be fine.
Aww, you're so cute, Uncle Min.